Kathy, welcome to Paper Napkin Wisdom. Thanks for joining me.
You are welcome. How are you?
I'm wonderful. And how are you?
I'm great.
Fantastic. So you shared with me a really great napkin, which I'd like you to read out loud for everyone listening, if you don't mind.
I will. Life is a gift, the gift of choice of who you want to spend it with.
That's great. So why did you share that with me?
Well, it's interesting because you were with me, obviously, when you handed out the napkins, and we were at EMP. There's 60 entrepreneurs from all over the world. We've got business ideas running through our veins, and you would think that I would come up with a nugget that was about business. And I sat and I looked around the room and feeling blessed being with everyone and these amazing people, and I realized it was my choice to be there.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, that's really powerful. So, for people listening, EMP is the Entrepreneurial Master's Program at MIT, and Kathy and I are classmates. And I challenged the class that year of 60 of the world top entrepreneurs who are lucky enough to get into this program to come up with a paper napkin wisdom, and this was yours. What you also did was you underlined a choice three times. I think that's an important word to you.
Well, it is a choice, but it hasn't always been a choice, because when you're younger you feel obligated or you feel guilt ridden to spend time with people that can suck the energy out of you, or people that are great people and you're obligated because you're related to them. And I think in 3 weeks I'm turning 50, and I think some of the lessons that I've learned is that you're not obligated, or guilt doesn't have to make your decision. Not that it's always easy. And when I say it's the choice of who you spend it with, that doesn't mean there aren't tons of special people in my life. I mean, I have tons of acquaintances and I love spending time with them, but it's not realistic to think that I'm going to see them all the time. So I'm okay to walk away and go, when I see them next, I see them next, and there's no obligation.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so obviously this is something you're talking very personally. This is something that you had to learn, right? It's not something that you knew out the gate.
Oh, no, it's something that you have to be okay with.
Yeah, yeah. And was there a moment where you learned this, or um, was there like an event that occurred to help you understand this, or was this something that you learned over time?
I think you learn over time. I think there's choices throughout your life when you decide to let someone out of your life. Because I want to make sure, because when I say that it's a choice who you spend it with, sometimes I'm like, Kathy, is that a cold statement? And I don't want it to be a cold statement. The easy ones in our life, throughout our life, are the ones that are toxic, right? That you want to help, but they don't want to help themselves. And I'm sure I've been toxic to people in certain parts of my life too, that they were probably like, get her out of here, right? Because it's a choice to make a difference. And so that's the easy one to walk away from. I think it's the people that meant something to you. Maybe they were a childhood friend and they were your best friend through high school, and then all of a sudden you're getting together as an adult, or now I'm an entrepreneur, they might not be, and there's nothing in common, but there's this obligation, or there's this guilt every time you go home that you don't pick up the phone and call them and meet them for lunch. Those are the choices that are tougher. um, you know I guess it's just with age, you pick. Maybe we can't stay up as late anymore, so you have to pick fewer people. I don't know, but at the end of the day, there's people that you add value to their life, and they add value to your life, and you have to be okay with allowing those relationships to change and the level that they come into your life. Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
it makes a lot of sense. And what I wonder about, you've talked about a lot of personal applications of that, but does that play out in your business experience as well
Well, I
as a
guess how.
leader?
Right, as a leader, or and you're right, as a leader, maybe with employees, whatever that may be. But in regards to business, I think this is how I developed into this, is because a lot of my good friends are business entrepreneurs, right? There's a common denominator there. And there are other people in my life who were maybe related to me or were friends, but as time went on, there wasn't a commonality anymore. So I would say the business leader is the part that's made me okay with not dealing with the guilt.
Yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying. Now, as a leader, do you think that this is something that we have an obligation to teach to our teams as well? I mean, is this something that we can teach to our teams and help them understand that their life is a gift, that they have the choice to spend it wisely? And you're in your business, you provide career relationships and counseling to some degree as part of a placement process. Is that part of what you do? Make people
Well,
understand that?
yeah, absolutely. As in, because we're an executive search firm, so we provide opportunity for people. And, one of the things I always say, whether it's to my clients or to our candidates, is it's an opportunity to look at, to make a change. Be okay. If you've been with the firm for 15 years and you've grown with that firm and there's an opportunity that's presented to you, be okay to make the move, right? Life, you do have that choice. Don't feel obligated to stay in a position because the company has been good to you. Just feel blessed that you've been in that position. And also, I tell everyone here, anyone that works for me, if your dream job comes through our company, come to me. Don't feel like you cannot come to me. It is not personal. We do this for a living. So it is the right to choose. So, it's interesting who you're going to spend it with. You're right. Professionally, personally, all the different aspects of your life. Once you have children, it changes.
Yeah, no, and I know for me that dynamic has changed often, and I think back to the fact that in my circle of friends that are not entrepreneurs, there's really only five people in that group, and they're the same five people that have been there for a long time. But I
Using you.
anyway, am very very selective about who's in that group.
Right.
Um, it's just only because I only have so much time to start off with. It sounds like that's what you're saying. But what's really interesting, and I'm learning, is that you give that choice to your team as well,
Yeah,
deliberately.
absolutely.
And what's been the effect? Like, what's been the payoff to you as a leader or in your business by empowering people in that way?
I just think there's a trust and honesty that is built. If the position isn't right for them anymore, they're very comfortable coming to me. And in reverse, if I make the decision, and there's another word that goes along with that is respect. Respecting that they do have the choice, and that it's not personal. And I think we have a very transparent culture here.
Yeah, and transparency helps us because I know that there are people listening right now who are saying, "Look, right now my life doesn't feel like a gift. Right now I'm going through some hard times, and it's really hard. So I don't have any choices. I just have to do all this stuff." And I've been there. I've been there at the bottom of a big mountain or at the bottom of a big pit, looking up, going, "Holy crap, this doesn't feel really great." Are you deliberate about still forcing yourself to feel this way, or being intentional about this feeling even when the going gets tough for you?
Yeah, I have had a tremendous amount of ups and downs, both personally and professionally, and it is hard, and it's hard to see straight during those times. And if someone is at a lower point in their life, take that word choice in a different direction. Choose to make a plan and make them very, very baby steps. And don't look at the person next to you and the success that they are having, because you really don't know what's going on in their life. Focus on yourself. As leaders, we plan, right? We have business plans. We plan for our company. We do a 1 year, a 3 year, a 5 year plan. And it doesn't always go right, and we have to redirect the plan or the ship. And that's what I would say to anyone personally. Make the choice to make a plan and just take baby steps, because I think sometimes we all want to put huge goals out there, but if times are tough, take the baby steps to get there.
Yeah, and celebrate those little wins along the way. And I know that's really been important to me in those situations. You said something really quickly that I think is really important for people to understand, is that so often in those situations we compare up to people who are really, that we perceive as being way better than us, and in especially in the areas that are our weaknesses. But really, when we're doing that, we're comparing against their veneer, and that's a complete falsehood. That's a bad trick to play on ourselves, isn't it?
100% agreed. 100% agreed. And I go back to the word success, and we all define it differently. And it doesn't matter what the next person has or doesn't have. The only thing, again, is your personal plan, your definition of success, and your choice to get there.
Yeah, that's right. So, and I know planning is really important to you, because you're the kind of person who probably planned for this phone call and thought about it, right? So let's talk about when you're in that situation and making that choice to make a plan and making that choice to build little steps. Can you give me an example of what you would consider to be a little step to get yourself pointed in the right direction that you intentionally do for yourself?
It can be a phone call to somebody. That's how small that, when you're looking at your to-do list, you're working your plan, and things are tough, and it's hard to get out of bed in the morning. And like I said, it's hard to see straight because of all the confusion going around your head, and probably not feeling really good about yourself. The baby step can be one phone call to ask for help from somebody. That could be success for the day.
Yeah.
Because as you start to get healthier, things start to get better, then it's easier to do 5 things during the day towards your plan.
And if you choose well, I mean, if you recognize that your life is a gift and you choose who to spend and surround yourself with, those kinds of choices become more impactful, because you're not getting the advice to go and distract yourself with some vices. And that's what we do, right? When we're afraid and we're scared of what's going on around us, sometimes it's easy to slip towards all kinds of distractions that are destructive. And if we surround ourselves with good choices and good people, we're going to get elevated. They're going to help us by cheering us in the right direction, right?
Absolutely correct. Because you hear the tagline, misery loves company. It's easy to do that. It's easy to find someone to wallow in the crap with. And what you want to do is bring someone positive reinforcement into your life. And everyone knows someone. And all you have to do is put a phone call out to someone and ask for help. People are willing to help others.
Absolutely. And that's a big part of where Paper Napkin Wisdom comes from. I think that if we can reach people and provide 15 minutes of inspiration in their day, it will be impactful, and it will make a difference. So think about, you've talked about how when you were younger, this may have been more challenging, and now this comes more easily. What's been the payoff to you in how you live your day and how things come together for you now that you know this choice, now you recognize the gift?
I think one of the things is the relationships that are important to you, whether it's a spouse, whether it's your children, family, a best friend, business relationships. When you determine or define those quality relationships, they go deeper because you're not trying to please everyone. Mm-hmm. So it allows you to go even deeper. And I'm not saying whoever those people are now will be the same people on your deathbed. Hopefully it's your spouse or, and your children, but relationships will come and go, and you have to appreciate them when they're there, and you have to be okay with letting them go. Does that make sense?
It does. But what it sounds like is that it starts with a gratitude piece for recognizing and being grateful for this moment,
right,
this present moment right now, without being overly overwhelmed with what has happened yesterday. So encumbered with what's happened yesterday, or overwhelmed with what's to come in the future, but just being present in that moment.
Right.
And that's what you're saying, I think.
Absolutely.
And has it helped you be more open about who you are and be yourself? I think that some of the things that we do as leaders is we put all this armor around ourselves to protect ourselves and project something to the world. But when we get out there, we realize that being ourselves is the best armor of all, and accomplishes the most. Has it helped you to do that?
There's no question it has helped me. And just an example in my personal life, I'm the youngest of 5 children. And so, you're kind of molded into what your older siblings do and think. And then I come from a very conservative family. And being the youngest of 5, you kind of not become as conservative as the rest of them. But as you're growing up, you're going to pretend, yes, I went to church on Sunday. Yes, right? And then when you get older, you're like, you know what? I'm really okay with me. And I'm really okay with how they believe. And they might not be on the same page. They're pretty close, but that's okay. And that is the lesson I've learned growing up, because I wanted to be perfect for my parents. And realizing that my parents love me for the individual person I am.
Yeah. One of the things that really is resonating with me, you just talked about, that it's a journey for me, is making sure that I'm being more as opposed to doing. I'm just going to be the change I want to see. I'm going to be what I want to accomplish. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be it, then do it. And it really sounds like that's what you're talking about, just being present and being comfortable. And I think that's a really important lesson for leaders. Kathy, I want to thank you, because it was a gift to spend this time with you. Thank you for choosing to make that happen.
Oh, absolutely. It truly was a gift. Thank you.
Thank you. Hopefully we can do this again. What do you think?
I'd love to.
Thanks. Hey, if you liked that episode, there's a ton more like it on iTunes. Just search Paper Napkin Wisdom. Go to papernapkinwisdom.com to find the blog and pictures of all of the paper napkins. Plus, you can also follow along on Facebook. Find Paper Napkin Wisdom on Twitter at WiseNapkin. My name is Govind Jayaraman. This is Paper Napkin Wisdom. Thanks for watching. Make it a great day.